arguably the best thing that you can do for your playing is to transcribe a solo. That's where you really learn how to get all this theory and put it in a musical, sensible expression. And here's a couple tips. These are a couple ideas that I've written down that can kind of help you in the transcribing idea, but especially help you transcribe the first solo. It's really important when you transcribe the first solo that you transcribe the right person. If you transcribe someone who's a little too rangy, or they play a lot of notes and it's beyond your technique, not only is it going to be hard to do, but you can really get discouraged and you can start to feel like maybe you're unable to do it. So when I teach students, I give them the first person to transcribe because it's really important to get started and feel good about it. Once students feel good about it, then it's easier to go into other players. So this list that I'm going to show you later on, it's really about getting started. And once you get started, then it's a lot easier. So first thing we would do is pick a solo that you like. It's important. I'm going to move this camera around here just a little bit, and hopefully you'll be able to blow this up on your screen and see it a little more. I feel like Steven Spielberg here. There you go. I'm going to win an Oscar for this. I know it. I can feel it. All right, so here we go. Pick a solo you like, and pick an instrument that's your instrument, so you could start to get a sense of what your instrument sounds like in jazz. Okay. Now this one here, pick a solo that you can technically pull off. I list some people here, and I'm just going to, let me zoom in a little bit. See, well, there you go. Alto sax, Paul Desmond. Tenor sax, Dexter Gordon. You have to find the right Dexter solo. Baritone saxophone, Jerry Mulligan. Trumpet, Blue Mitchell and Chet Baker. And I would also add Miles Davis to that, but I would put next to Miles Davis's name, Kind of Blue CD, because Miles, he solos differently in different eras, and what you want to get is his playing in that kind of blue time period, because it's real easy to get. His solo on So What is a classic, and it's every student who tries to pull it off gets it. Trombone, Benny Green. Piano, Horace Silver, Vince Guaraldi, and maybe Count Basie. You have to look around for piano, because pianists spend a lot of time on their technique, and even Horace Silver and Vince Guaraldi may be able to play something that's too much in the beginning. So you have to sort of sniff around the solos by these three: Horace Silver, Vince Guaraldi, and I'll put Count Basie onto that too. Guitar, Grant Green, Kenny Burrell. Vibes, Lionel Hampton. Clarinet, we have Benny Goodman. Now Benny, it's kind of the same thing as piano. You don't find clarinet players not using technique. I use a double negative there. Clarinet players will, you have to hunt around. But Benny Goodman would be a good one to, a good player to investigate. Flute, Herbie Mann, Dave Valentine. Bass, Ray Brown. Drums, Art Blakey, Max Roach. And for jazz vocal scatting, there's Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Diana Krall. There's certainly more people than this, and if you would YouTube any one of these people, you would be able to get a feeling for what they do. Okay? Now here are some tips. Let's move this over here. There you go. Alright, so here's some tips. Sing the solo first. Get it in your head. Listen to the solo an awful lot. When we transcribe something, you don't have to get it on the horn right off the bat. It's just a good idea to just be listening to it a lot. Get it in your head. You're not going to transcribe a solo overnight if you've never done it before. It takes a while. You have to marinate in this. When you work on a transcribed solo, it's like an investment. You have to put in the time, and it will pay off in the end. Get the rhythms first. That will help you get the framework. Sometimes just writing down the rhythm of a particular solo helps you fill it in. Next, get the first and last notes of the phrase. This way you can sort of get the outline, get the ends of it, and work your way and sort of color it in like a coloring book. The next thing, you would write the solo out. This way you would have a permanent record of it. And then we would play the solo away from the recording at a slower tempo. You're going to probably do that anyway as you're figuring it out. By the time you get the solo together, you'll probably listen to this thing a couple hundred times. And that's the way it's done. Play the solo along with the recording. Exactly. In other words, shadow the recording and do that memorized, which you'd be surprised. By the time you get to the end, you will have the solo memorized because you will have listened to it. You don't have to work at memorizing it. You will wind up memorizing it because you'll listen to it so much. And play the solo exactly, but away from the recording. This way you will now have it. It will be part of your information. It would be downloaded, for lack of a better word, but when you transcribe a solo, you're downloading someone's style. And then that becomes you, or you become them, whatever. But after a while, you do enough of this, it gets easier, and you'll find yourself being able to get this theory, get the scales, get the patterns, and you'll find yourself playing this information in the style that would be in the style that the person that you transcribe. So these are some tips to help you get started. It's tedious and it'll take a while, so don't get discouraged.